100 years ago, in 1894, there was a girl named Clara Walkden. She lived in Doffcocker, just outside of Bolton, Lancashire, a town famous for its mills. Clara lived with her dad, Edwin, her mum, Clara, her three brothers, Frederick, Robert and Gilbert, as well as her little sister, Gladys. Their house was really very small for all 7 of them. It only had 4 rooms. It must have been very, very cramped. Clara's dad, Edwin, was a master tailor. He spent his days using the cloth made in the mills to make and repair clothes. Edwin trained Robert and Clara to help him, and the 3 of them worked busily all day, while Gilbert worked in the local mill and Gladys went to school. Clara's eldest brother, Frederick, however, did a different job. He was a police officer working in Bolton. Every day he went to work looking after people in his tall helmet and smart uniform. We think that Clara wished that she could be just like Frederick and be a police officer too. Every day she'd watch him set out for work, but girls were not allowed to be police officers. However, Clara was living in a time of change, and the rules around what women could and could not do were beginning to change. These changes were driven by a group of women called the suffragettes. They wanted to have the right to vote, the right to have a say in who runs our country. They also believed that girls and boys could and should be able to do the same jobs. The suffragettes would hand out leaflets and give big talks at meetings called rallies to try and get people to listen and help them change the rules. Some of the suffragettes would break the law to make sure that they were heard. They did things like breaking windows. But just as the suffragettes were getting their voices heard, World War I broke out, and Clara's brothers all went off to fight, just like many more men up and down the country. This meant that we did not have enough men left behind to do all the jobs and keep the country going. Who do you think could possibly help do all these jobs? Women. Women would volunteer and give their time for free to help out. They helped the police, they helped in factories, they even helped on farms. World War I gave women the chance to show what they could do and how well they could do all these different jobs. Soon after the war, in 1921, we here in Greater Manchester got our very first police woman, and she worked for Oldham Borough Police, and I bet you can't guess who it was. Clara Walkden, and there were many, many more to follow.